Though the Crimson Tide lost 3 talented gymnasts, including NCAA all-around champion Gina Rice, the cupboard is far from bare. 2-time Olympic silver medalist Taryn Humphrey is shining in her freshman year, and junior Ashley Miles has reached perfection. In 3 years as Florida's head coach, Rhonda Fain has built a Gator program that's beginning to challenge not only in the SEC, but nationally as well. It's the Tide and the Gators on the mats.
Mississippi State wins. Go, Rebels! Let's go, Gator! Here comes the ball. Go, go!
Welcome to Gainesville, Florida, as tonight the O-Dome is home to a top 5 SEC gymnastics showdown. It's the 5th-ranked Florida Gators hosting the 4th-ranked Alabama Crimson Tide. I'm Jen Hildreth. Glad you could join us here in Gainesville. Now, a few weeks ago, the O'Connell Center hosted the Super 6 Challenge, and in that meet, the hometown Gators got the better of the Crimson Tide. Since that time, though, the Alabama Crimson Tide have put up one of the best scores in the country, breaking the 197 mark against LSU last week. For more on Alabama, let's bring in Lori Strong-Ballard.
Thanks, Jen. It's hard to believe Alabama predicted a slow start when just weeks into the season, they have already hit their stride, posting one of the top scores in the SEC over a 197. Their rebuilding concerns came when they graduated the SEC and national all-around champion, Gina Rice. But they've quickly filled that void with another national champion, Ashley Miles, who has successfully stepped it up as an all-around gymnast this year. And to top it off, the Tide boasts one of the premier gymnasts in the world, 2-time Olympic medalist Taryn Humphrey. And Coach, how has Taryn made the adjustment from the Olympic arena to college gymnastics, and where will we see her contributing tonight?
Well, I think she's done amazingly well just coming to our team December 26th. After taking 3.5 months off and just doing the TJ Maxx Tour Champion, it's a big difference getting ready to compete again, and especially in Olympic competition where they compete so infrequently. Now she's competing every single week. We started her out tonight. You'll see her on the balance beam and the uneven bars, and then we're going to add her in as the season goes on. But I think she's doing remarkably well.
Now, your first competition of the season was right here in the O'Connell Center for the Super 6. Obviously, though, you've picked up momentum since then when Florida beat you at the Super 6. Will we see a different team, a different Alabama team tonight?
I'd like to think so. I think that was our goal coming down here. We knew starting out the season it was just going to be a little slower for us, but that as things got better for us, we would be much stronger. And I think really that tonight our goal is to come out here and show that we're a team that's going to contend along with Florida for the SEC and the NCAA championship.
Well, thanks, Coach, and good luck tonight.
Thank you.
And now for a little insight from the other side, over to you, Natalie.
Thanks, Lori. Now, Coach Fain, you did come out on top of Alabama at the Super 6.
Obviously, we want to do the same thing here once again. Our goal tonight is to hit all of our routines and to be consistent, which we weren't as consistent as we wanted to be at Super 6. So we're really looking to go out and just nail everything and to come out on top.
Now, coming out on top and nailing everything, however, how would it be to beat Alabama twice this early in the season?
I think it would be a tremendous confidence booster for the entire team. It's a great feat to do, and it's a very strong program. So to do that twice so early in the season, it's a really good thing.
Okay, thanks, Coach, and good luck.
Thank you.
Now back to you, Jen.
Well, there's a lot to look forward to in this meet. As Lori mentioned, you'll get a look at the 2004 U.S. Olympian, Taryn Humphrey from Alabama. She'll be competing along with 3-time NCAA champion Ashley Miles. What an exciting athlete she is to watch. For Florida, the Gators have a very talented lineup, highlighted by sophomore All-American Brianne King. Can the Gators make it 2 in a row over the Tide this season? We'll find out. Stay tuned. Earlier tonight, the Florida Gators came in to a standing ovation from their crowd here at the O'Connell Center, as they should. The Gators coming off a great performance a week ago, 196.95 in a win over Nebraska. Gators hoping to improve on that maybe tonight against the Alabama Crimson Tide. Tide will be starting rotation 1 on bars, an event that they're ranked 10th in the country on. Although, Lori, they will be having to go without All-American Alexis Brion, who's feeling a little under the weather tonight.
It'll definitely be a big loss for Alabama, but this gives them the opportunity to allow some of their other athletes to get some competition time, and this early in the season, that's very important. Shannon has amazing lines on this event. Take a look at her body positions through every element. Stick straight. So far, so good. Hitting her handstands, and she has a big dismount planned here. Double Arabian, and she under-rotates. An automatic 5/10 deduction right there.
Tough break for the Crimson Tide. Shannon Rosick, one of their senior captains this year.
This dismount needs perfect timing and tap into the release element. You can see she's rotating a little slow. Tremendous repetition in the gym and competition make this dismount consistent.
Well, disappointing start for Shannon, a 9.275. Already Alabama a score they hope to drop in this rotation to get a high score, but Florida looking to get a high score of their own. They'll be starting tonight on vault in front of their home crowd, and who better for us to start off with than Orly Smooch, an athlete with so much character for this Florida team.
An absolute crowd favorite here, and a tremendous vaulter. Amazing landing. That vault is scored out of a 10, and boy, did she execute.
Looking every bit the two-time NCAA regional vault champion that she is.
If you look closely, both of Orly's ankles are taped. She's been having ankle problems, and that's why she's not competing in the all-around, but it did not show here. A blind landing. She cannot see the floor before the feet hit, but there's not a movement with the feet.
Wow, a 9.925. Great score for Orly. That is a season high for her. The Gators off to a strong start. Ashley Miles, one of the athletes we talked about, keep an eye on in this meet. She's competing in the all-around, something she's doing for the first time this season.
She's in a very important role right here. She needs to get the Tide back on track here. They already have a fall, but they can drop that fall, so big scores coming up could help. She had some difficulty in warm-up on that connection, not a problem here in competition. Such a confident and intense competitor, and it shows with every routine. Here's the dismount. It's a big one. A tall gymnast with a double layout. She gets some distance on that, but somehow finds the landing.
It looks like she goes so far out there, but you're right, Lori. She always finds a way to pull it together.
This is a huge combination. It's called a Hindorf, and that's a big release element. In warm-up, she was so pumped up that she was getting such tremendous height that she was having trouble controlling the connection out of it. But here in competition, what an amazing competitor.
No trouble for Ashley Miles there with a 9.875. Brianne King, though, getting ready to vault for the Gators. We're midway through rotation one here in Gainesville, Florida. Jen Hildreth, Lori Strong-Ballard, Natalie Taylor along with you here. And in this meet, getting a chance now to see a sophomore for the Florida Gators, Brianne King from North Vancouver, British Columbia. She will be competing on vault.
Competing that Yurchenko-style vault, this time with a full twist. Pretty good on the landing, just a slight pike position right before the feet hit.
Brianne, though just a sophomore, one of the athletes certainly Florida looks to as a leader in this competition.
Absolutely, and at 5'8", Brianne is a tall gymnast, so on this vault, her technique needs to be exceptional to give her that height and enough rotation time to get a full rotation and a full twist around.
Well, here's an athlete everyone's been waiting to see, an Olympian and now a member of the Crimson Tide team, as Natalie Taylor tells us.
Straight off the Olympic podium, then to the TJ Maxx Tour of Champions, Taryn Humphrey is now at the University of Alabama. She was welcomed with open arms and on many billboards in Alabama, and also on the cover of this year's media Gymnastics Guide.
It's kind of a little bit funny, just because I didn't grow up around here, or I just came into this city, so it's kind of weird seeing myself everywhere.
She's been received very well. I mean, what school wouldn't want an Olympian on their team, you know? And I've known Taryn previously, and I mean, she's just an awesome kid. You know?
When she came for her visit in December, she was here for our Christmas party. She brought her medals, and we photographed them. And Taryn is so humble. I mean, she really is down to earth, and you would never know that she is a two-time Olympic silver medalist. And I think the biggest telling factor is when we took her back to the airport, she checked the silver medals in her luggage, and she carried her picture of Brad Pitt with her on the plane. So I think that shows how humble she is. You know, the medals are great and wonderful, but you know, she's just all about being a part of this team and starting to have some fun again, and being a college student.
It's not every day that a freshman receives this amount of attention early in the season, but it looks like Taryn Humphrey is fitting in quite well, and in Alabama is one of the girls. Back to you, Jen.
Thanks very much, Natalie. How about that, Lori? She kept her picture of Brad Pitt with her and checked the medals into the luggage.
Quite a humble gymnast. What an ambassador for the sport, as well as this Alabama program. And this is the event that she won a silver medal on in Athens. What an exciting time in her life. She works the bars with such ease, anticipates every movement before she gets there, and that's what makes her so good. Exceptional quality in every element, including the handstands and, of course, the stuck landings. That will be a big score.
You can see why Taryn Humphrey adds something special to this Alabama team.
This is one of her major release moves. It's called a Horkina, which is named after one of the greatest bar workers in the world. And now, of course, we can call Taryn one of the greatest bar workers in the world as well.
I think she ranks right up there. Season high 9.925 for Taryn. Alabama finishes with a 49.125 in the first rotation. Florida not quite done yet, though. Tiffany Murray up on vault.
And if you haven't noticed the scores so far, this is an event that Florida has greatly improved on because of athletes like Tiffany. She has really boosted the difficulty level of their lineup. Tiffany does a great job on this vault, really setting her direction. Take a look off the table. She pushes up first, then initiates the twist. A little bit of a bounce on the landing. I'd like to see her bend her knees and absorb some of that power.
Yeah, boy, she does that. She might be getting close to that 10 mark as it is. A 9.95 for Tiffany Murray. The Gators come out with a 49.4 on vault. That's a season high. Great start for the Gators. We'll see if they can keep it up here going into rotation 2. Welcome back to the O'Connell Center in Gainesville, Florida. The Florida Gators leading the Crimson Tide after one rotation by .275, so it's a very tight meet as we expected. Florida on bars in this rotation, an event where they've kind of struggled early in the season.
Well, head coach Rhonda Fain told me that one of their primary goals this year was to increase their difficulty across all 4 events so that they can be competitive nationally. And with that comes some inconsistency. And I think as the season goes on, we're going to see them get stronger on this event. Orley starts him off, and boy, she's a confident bar worker, doing a nice combination element of a giant full to an in-bar ginger. There's assistant coach Randy Lane spotting and pulling mats. He's their bar coach. Combination into the dismount and a solid landing. A very strong start off for Team for the Gators.
Orley says this is her favorite event to compete. She's in 3 tonight, vault, bars, and beam, but this is the one she likes the best.
She adds some originality to this event as well. Doing the ginger, most athletes do it on the outside of the bar. She does it between the bars, and that really increases the risk.
Orley Smooch puts up a 9.75 to start the Gators off in rotation number 2. Alabama is competing on vault in this rotation. They've got the #1 ranked vaulter in the country, and Ashley Miles anchoring their rotation. They start off with Shannon Rosick, the senior.
Shannon's career best is a 9.925, and she may get close to that on that vault. A gorgeous Yurchenko layout full.
Shannon recovering nicely. As we saw, had a fall off of bars on her landing. This one looks good, though.
Again, a taller gymnast, and she makes this vault look easy, explosive, nice laid out straight position in the air, and a great landing.
9.875 is a season high for Shannon. Nice performance there. For the Florida Gators, Katie Rue is competing on bars.
And competing in the all-around tonight. She has been a steady performer for them on vault, beam, and floor, but this has been her weak event. They've really had to make some adjustments in terms of the content of this routine, and she's in trouble there, falling over on a handstand. She escapes a fall there, but she will be deducted for extra swings, empty swings. About a 3/10 deduction there in the dismount. Double layout, good landing.
So Katie struggles just a little bit there. As you mentioned, Lori, this is probably the weakest of the events that she competes.
She went over on a handstand, really tried hard to cover it up. She saved the team from taking that 5/10 deduction for a fall, but this will be a low score.
Well, still to come in this rotation, the #1 vaulter in the country. Can Alabama's Ashley Miles reach perfection again? Well, it looks like some Alabama fans made their way to Gainesville for tonight's meet between the Florida Gators and their Crimson Tide. Florida so far leading in this one, but anything can happen. Dana Folletti vaulting for the Tide.
Doing a very different style of vault. Most of the vaults we're seeing tonight are that Yurchenko layout full. She adds the twist to the first half of the vault. Right here, you see a full on and then a pike off. It's also scored out of a 10, a start value of a 10, the same as the Yurchenko layout full that we saw from Shannon, and later we'll see from Ashley.
Dana competing in the all-around tonight, achieved a 9.825. Meanwhile, Brianne King competing on bars for the Gators.
One strong event under her belt. 3 to go. She's a true all-around gymnast, strong and consistent across 4 events. Doing a nice combination element into a Jaeger. That's her big major release move. They must perform at least 2 release moves, with the second one being of a B value. Double open, a little slow on the rotation. She has to take the step out on the landing, but pretty clean throughout the entire routine.
Brianne, as you mentioned earlier, Lori, one of the taller gymnasts out there. You can really see it in this event.
You're right, at 5'8", that makes these release moves that much more impressive and more difficult.
Brianne King receives a 9.7 for the Gators. She closes out rotation #2. Florida receives a 48.7. That is a little below their season average, so maybe giving Alabama a chance to close that gap. They came in a bit behind, but boy, if you're looking to make up some space, Ashley Miles is one who can do it for you against LSU. She puts up a beautiful vault. In fact, you might call it perfect. The only perfect 10 on vault in the country this season.
That was cool, is what it was. And I mean, I've told everyone who's asked me, I felt the momentum of the meet going their way. I mean, it was no joke. The audience was kind of quiet a little bit. They were like, oh no, these guys are actually good, which is, it wasn't a surprise at all. We knew they were going to be good. And I was just like, you know what, I'm taking this and I'm starting to change momentum and, set it going the other way, our way. And we ended up being tied going into the last event. And I mean, it was amazing. It was the funnest meet I'd ever competed in, hands down.
The highest and most explosive vaulter in the country. Perfection, though, for Ashley comes down to the landing, and today she takes a step. The judges have been cracking down on the landings this year, especially in the SEC, and they will have to take probably a full 10th for that landing. Other than that, there's really nothing wrong with this vault. Look at the height and the distance. Her body position is absolutely perfect.
Ashley gets a 9.9, a great score. Not a 10, but still pretty good. And the Crimson Tide finish up rotation #2 with a 48.925. They actually pick up more than 2/10 on Florida in this rotation, but the Gators still hold a slight lead. Just 5/100ths of a point separate the Florida Gators and the Alabama Crimson Tide here tonight, heading into rotation #3. Florida still holding that slim lead. Jen Hildreth along with Lori Strong-Ballard and Natalie Taylor, who's with a group of Florida fans.
When people think of the University of Florida athletics, they tend to think of the rowdy reptiles. In gymnastics, they've taken it a step further. They call themselves the Rumblin' Hublin' Reptiles. I'm standing here with Jared, a freshman at the University of Florida. Now, Jared, what's it like to be a Rumblin' Reptile, and how did you become one?
It's exhilarating. I've never had a more exciting experience. Actually, it's something that a few friends and I just decided that one time we're going to try it out. And we thought, maybe get a free shirt here or there, But then once I got here, I decided this is something I'm going to be really serious about. And I live for this now. So.
Well, thank you. Now back to you, Jen.
Thank you, Natalie. Fans who live for it. I like it. Looks like you're having a lot of fun down there, too. That's great. Alabama will be competing on floor in this rotation, and they are ranked #1 in the country in this event.
It's an amazing environment here at the O'Connell Center, and the competition is so close. What a great experience for these athletes. Dana Folletti opening up with a big, difficult double Arabian. Nice job.
Dana, one of the gymnasts in the all-around competition tonight. comes into this rotation just behind her teammate, Ashley Miles.
She's having an excellent season so far. One of Alabama's great floor workers. Saw some difficulty in her opening tumbling pass. She adds a combination tumbling pass there, but this is where the routine really takes off. Choreographed by Alabama's assistant coach, Dana Duckworth. But really, it's what Dana Folletti adds to it, that character and personality that really comes out in this dance. My favorite part, really working the music here. Final tumbling pass, taking a deep breath. Whip half front layout. Oh, a gorgeous routine.
Dana Folletti competing third in this rotation for the Alabama Crimson Tide. Looking to get them a big score.
Pulls out all the big difficulty in this opening pass.
Wow, look
double
at the height.
Arabian, blind landing. You saw her foot skid out from under her, but she was so quick to hit the lunge position, she saved it.
Dana gets a career best 9.875. Boy, Crimson Tide starting strong. Florida Gators on beam in this rotation. Typically, this has been their strongest event. Brianne King, Gator has won the beam title the first 3 meets of this season.
And tonight for the Gators, this is a key event with the #1 team in the nation, Alabama, on floor. They need to hit. Florida needs to hit on this event. Remember, 6 athletes compete, 5 scores count, so they can throw out 1 score. They are looking for 5 big scores. A new element for Brianne, the side summy there, slight wobble, about a 1/10 deduction. Excellent job on her jump combination. An aerial back handspring, a very unique acrobatic combination that is a requirement for these athletes to combine 2 slight acrobatic elements together. Here we go, just the dismount. It's a double full. Pretty good on the landing, so just that wobble on the side summy. Other than that, a strong routine. The hurdle, she does a round off into this. Gets nice power in there, a slight crossing of the legs, about a 1/2 deduction there.
Brianne gets a 9.8 on beam, and remember, as Lori mentioned, it is so tight, this competition in this rotation. Just 5/100ths of a point separate these 2 teams, so every athlete's performance counts.
#1 team in the country on this event. However, they are competing without Alexis Breon, one of their best floor workers. She's out of this competition because of a little bit of fatigue. She had a rough week in practice and a rough warm-up. They've decided to rest her. They want to avoid any injuries this early in the season. Probably a smart decision. And other athletes like Erin get some competition experience.
Yeah, Erin Rightly really takes on a lot of responsibility here, because not only is Alexis a top competitor on floor for Alabama, she's actually tied with teammate Ashley Miles as ranked #1 in this event in the country.
Erin doing an excellent job on her leap combinations. All of those twisting, leaps, and jumps must be fully completed in order to get full credit. Erin is an extremely clean gymnast. There's not many deductions you can take. So far, 2 solid tumbling passes, and her final one, a front full to a front pike, another good landing. Again, not many deductions. This should be a big score.
Erin Rightly is coming off a career best 9.85 on floor against LSU. Maybe she can top that with this routine.
Good speed and distance on the back handspring into this double pike. She gets extreme height in that, and a really gorgeous start to the routine.
And Erin does top her career best with a 9.9, just exactly what the Crimson Tide were looking for. But the big hitters on beam and floor are still to come. There's some of those rumbling, tumbling reptiles that Natalie Taylor was talking to before, giving some support to this Florida gymnastics team. One of those athletes, senior co-captain Erin Dooley, who coming back for her 5th year has been such an inspiration to her Florida teammates.
That was something that really touched us when she chose to come back for her 5th year, because she is just such a team leader, and she's the co-captain again this year for the team, and she just has such a passion and a love for the sport, and you can see it in her eyes.
Erin redshirted her freshman year after fracturing her leg, first meet of the season. Quite devastating. Showing some wow factor right there. What a solid and extremely difficult mount combination. Erin is dealing with a stress fracture in her leg right now, so she's only competing on one event tonight. I hope to get her in more lineups as the season continues on. Such a mature gymnast with great experience, and you need that on this event as she saves her tumble series. Hear the background music. That's just to create a better environment in the gym. Athletes don't perform beam to music like they do on floor. Stretch into the dismount, a gainer full, solid landing, great routine.
And the Gators need Erin to come up big here. Co-captain trying to get a good score for the Gators in this 3rd rotation.
A wobble of the tumble series, but an excellent first impression with this mount and a perfect position in that wolf jump.
Erin Dooley receives a 9.775, not as high as some of the other scores we've been seeing. And what that does is open the door for Alabama, and when that door is open, Ashley Miles likes to walk right through it. She is ranked #1 in the country on floor, but she has a new routine this season.
I was a little skeptical about it at first, you know, when I first got it, but I mean, after competing in that first meet, everyone loved it, and I mean, it's just been amazing.
Ashley has the full package on this event. The judges and the fans are looking for the big tumbling and the inventive, expressive dance we're going to see. Opening huge with a double layout, the most difficult pass of this competition.
And you said it, Lori. Ashley combines so well both those elements. She gets huge height on her tumbling passes, and she is as expressive as they come.
Adding both back and forward tumbling, a front full to a front layout. Don't be deceived by all the big tumbling, because here comes the personality.
Ashley is the defending NCAA champion in this event. She has 2 perfect 10s in her career and always has the capability of putting up big scores.
Collegiate gymnastics is a little different than what we see maybe at the Olympic level or at the elite level, in that, especially on this event, the coaches and the choreographers really allow the athlete to show off their personality and their own individual style. Finishing big with a double pike, excellent tumbling. There it is, personality and all, the #1 floor worker in the country. Excellent.
Take a good look at this, folks, because this is as good as it comes on floor.
Clean landings on all 3 tumbling passes, opening with a double layout. Again, she's not a short, petite gymnast. She is tall and lengthy, and that is a tough pass to finish.
A 9.95 ties a season high on floor for Ashley Miles, and the Alabama Crimson Tide do some making up in this rotation. They picked up some big points already. They've got a 49.325, but Florida still has 1 performer left, Samantha Lutz, sophomore from Grove City, Ohio, on beam.
Florida is getting the job done over here, averaging over a 9.8. Those are pretty big scores. The Again, 6 athletes compete, 5 scores count. Right now the low score is a 9-7, 7-5. They want to pick up as many tenths as they can here. We'll jump to a twisting jump, a 3/4 twisting split jump, gaining valuable bonus points. They have the minimum requirements. They will start from a 9-5, and then from there they must build 5 tenths in bonus through combination work and difficult skills. To master this event, it requires maturity, stability, and a lot of numbers in the gym. Just the dismount left. Tumbles into it, back handspring layout to a full twist. Almost a little bit of an under rotation there, but she tries to cover it up. Here we go into the dismount. She adds a difficult layout in front of the full twist, increasing the risk level, and of course, gaining those bonus points.
One of those things you said Florida working on this year, trying to increase that difficulty level, make themselves more competitive at the top of the country and the SEC. In this rotation, they wind up with a 49.075, great score, but Alabama picked up more than 2/10 of a point, and the Crimson Tide actually take the lead going into the final rotation. Welcome back to the O'Connell Center in Gainesville, Florida. We've got a hot competition going on between the Crimson Tide of Alabama and the Florida Gators. The Tide just took a lead, but they're going to have to finish this one out on beam, something Sarah Patterson said her team is prepared for.
We want it to be close. We want to be in a position, and then, ladies, we want to win it on beam, because the last time we won a national championship was in 2002, and from SECs to regionals, we went 4 straight nights on random draw, and we ended on beam. So, you know, it happens, and I think this is the kind of environment, as in everything that we do, we try and use to prepare us for the NCAA championships.
Well, Alabama's going to have to finish strong here, competing on beam in this last rotation. They lead by just 2/10 of a point, and Florida will be competing on floor in front of their home crowd.
Athletes of this level never shy away from this kind of competition. Like Sarah said, this is great preparation for these athletes. Close competition, finishing on beam. The pressure is on them.
And Dana Folletti is coming off a career-high 9.8 on beam against LSU.
Dana has been so solid so far, hitting her tumble series, gorgeous jumps. Staying focused, a slight wobble there on her tuck full. Handspring, back handspring, swing down. The athletes must show an element that is performed low on the beam. I just want to see a variety of skills. A difficult jump there. It's called a sheep jump. The idea is to get the feet at the height of the head. She does gain bonus points for that jump. Heading into the dismount, round off, double twist. With the pressure, the competition's on the line, and Dana thought through this entire routine, fighting for every single 10th, including this dismount, the round off double full. She was clean throughout the entire routine. She takes a small step to the side, but really minimizes those landing deductions.
Dana receives a 9.7 for Alabama. So not a huge score, but getting the job done. Meanwhile, as we said, Florida will be on floor, an area that they've really tried to improve on this season.
We knew that the floor was a weak point for us last year in the tumbling. So everyone that's come in, I mean, Tiffany Murray and Tracy Rye, Ashley Reed, all of those athletes are extremely strong with their tumbling. And it's definitely helped our lineup position, and it's helped our scores in that sense. It's just right now a matter of fine-tuning and finding the consistency with the increased difficulty.
Samantha Lutz hoping to play off some consistency. She had, as you see, a 9.9 season best in her first time competing on floor this season against Nebraska.
Rhonda did mention the importance of consistency, and Florida struggled a little bit with that at the Super 6 competition. But now, several weeks later, we are seeing more consistent performers from them. Still early in the season, and they are fine-tuning and still trying to decide exactly what elements they want in the routines and what kind of lineups score the best. An excellent performer, and what a great experience to be competing in front of a home crowd.
Yeah, that's one thing many of these Florida gymnasts said that they really love about competing at home, is especially this part, competing on floor in front of those fans. And you know, Samantha's quite a competitor. She's one of 7 All-Americans on this Florida team, and that's the most on any team in the country.
And when you're talking about a close competition like this, the Gators can really feed off the energy that they are getting from their fans right now. Final Gator chomp as she heads into her last tumbling pass. A double twist. A clean, expressive routine for Samantha.
Gators are coming into this rotation having to make up a little space. Maybe they do that here.
Samantha does a great job in completing all of her twisting jumps, and of course, this twisting acro element, a double twist to a solid landing.
And how about it? Samantha ties her season high with a 9.9. Great performance for Florida. But all night, Alabama junior Ashley Miles has been putting up the big numbers, and she is leading the all-around competition at this point. Looking back at that great bar routine, the big dismount. Ashley had a 9.875 there. Then on vault, where she's ranked number 1 in the country, has had a perfect 10 so far this season. That one gets a 9.9. And that great explosive floor performance where Ashley had a 9.95, looking to finish it off here on beam. And Lori, this is the event that she added this year to make herself an all-around competitor.
She has competed for the Tide on the balance beam in the past, but this year she is a consistent addition to their lineup. Ashley told me it was a goal of hers to be competing in the all-around this year. She's a national champion on vault and floor. Now she wants to hit some of those all-around goals as well.
She's won the first 2 that she's competed in, so I'd say she's off to a pretty strong start.
She's such an explosive, powerful athlete, and sometimes that can hinder your performance on this event. It requires stability and calm presence. And it also requires, like I've said before, a lot of numbers, not only in the gym, but in competition, to learn your body and how you deal with the pressure. Usually a very confident athlete, and I think and believe that the more that she competes on this event, the better that she is going to become. She is so competitive. And a huge dismount here, a double back, not many in this competition, and she struggles with the landing.
Had that big height that we're used to seeing on her floor routine there, but can't quite hold on to it when she gets down to the mat.
At the end of a 90-second beam routine, you really need a lot of repetitions of this dismount to know exactly how much oomph to put into it. For now, that will be the drop score for Alabama.
You're right, Lori, 9.625, their lowest so far. Can Florida make up the difference? Well, as we expected, this meet going down to the last couple competitors for each team. Brienne King for Florida is one of the last gymnasts to compete. She's 4th in their rotation, so still a couple more to go after her, but she really needs to get a big score here. As we said, Florida comes into this rotation behind. They need to make up some points.
Opening with a whip, immediate 2.5 twist. She increases the difficulty on that tumbling pass by adding the whip, the no hand back handspring, before the 2.5 twist.
And this is where I think we can really see some of that increased difficulty paying off in higher scores.
Second tumbling pass, a double twist. Pretty solid on the landing once again. Rhonda Fain told me that Brianne always competes with calm confidence, and that is so important, not only in her consistency, but it's also important for her teammates to know that, hey, Brianne's going to hit almost 100% of the time. But Rhonda also told me that this year she's really starting to come out of her shell and show off a little bit of that personality. And this is the event that she can really show off her flair. Third tumbling pass, front tumbling, front full to a front pike. Gator chomp to finish it up. Clean, strong routine for the Gators. They need some scores here. Opening tumbling pass. You see her tumbling onto what's called a sting mat. They are allowed to land on that for safety reasons. You can also see the chalk lines in the corner there. That is a must, or there will be a deduction.
What a great score for Brianne King. Ties her career high with a 9.925, but take a look at that, Lori.
Oh, what originality. That is a triple turn done in a down low wolf position, and it's named after Taryn.
It's called the Humphrey, as you might guess, and Taryn Humphrey, as we've told you, is an Olympian, two-time silver medalist, and she is ranked #1 in the country on
And
beam.
more big difficulty right there in her tumble series, a full twisting back handspring into a back handspring layout. Most of the athletes here just do a plain back handspring layout. Taryn told me that she did decrease some of her difficulty in her routines. At the collegiate level, they certainly do not need that higher level of difficulty that we're seeing at the Olympics and World Championships. They're competing week in and week out. There's no need to do the huge difficulty, but this is the most difficult routine of the night.
Well, and in her collegiate debut, Taryn got a 9.95 against LSU in this event.
So difficult, a triple turn in that low position. Excellent job. Almost a smile on her face.
Yeah, you know, her teammates said that even their jaws drop when they watch her do that move. It's just incredible. Well, that'll do it for Alabama in this rotation and in this meet. They receive a 48.975 in rotation number 4, but Savannah Evans is going to have to put up a big score for Florida because earlier in this rotation they had a fall.
Tiffany Murray, we heard Rhonda Fain mention earlier that this is one of the athletes that would boost her floor lineup, but tonight she was off on her final pass, a little bit loose on her takeoff of that double pike. Gets that 5/10 deduction. That will be their throwout score, and now the pressure's on Savannah.
Absolutely, a lot of weight on her shoulders now. She needs a 9.75 or better to win this meet for the Florida Gators.
Opening with a front double full, nice landing. Big smile, lots of character. Big 1.5 to a front layout, gorgeous landing, really feeding off the energy of this crowd. All three of Savannah's tumbling passes are front tumbling, but she gets some fantastic height.
Savannah is a specialist on vault and floor, the two events she competed in tonight for Florida.
This disciplined athlete came to Florida as a walk-on, but earned a scholarship. Quite an inspiration, and now she is the final performer for the Gators with the competition on the line. Tremendous pressure. See her taking a couple deep breaths here, getting some oxygen to her muscles. Very important tumbling pass, front full, front tuck, not a problem. This will be a big score. Will it be over 9.75? We'll have to see. Opening pass, a front double twist, nice height, but you do see the cross of the legs in the air. Small deduction there. Round off back handspring. There's some back tumbling there. 1.5 to a front layout, gorgeous straight lines in the air, and that was an excellent landing.
Now all that's left is the score, and there it is, a 9.95 for Savannah Evans. That'll do it for the Florida Gators. What a performance, and what a way to finish this meet for Florida. The Gators get a 49.375 on floor. That's a season high. And they top that off by finishing this meet and coming up with the victory. There you see the final scores, 196.55 to 196.35. Lori is with the Florida Gators.
We saw some great gymnastics from both sides. It came down to the wire, but tonight the win is yours.
We're all just so pleased. You know, the team went out there tonight and they hit all their routines just like we wanted, and were extremely aggressive and worked on the landings. And we had a blast. It was fun, and you know, it gives them a lot of momentum to finish the rest of the season out strong.
You mentioned before the competition that the key tonight might be the landings. Are you happy with the progress there?
Absolutely, especially on vault. That was the biggest area of improvement. We had so many more stuck landings, and that adds up so fast that it really carried the momentum through the rest of the meet.
And Savannah, what a fabulous Florida team from you. The 995 sealed the win for Florida. You had a fall on one of your athletes right before you went, so you needed at least a 975 to tie or higher to win. Were you nervous?
No, ma'am, I wasn't nervous. I just go out there, have to show it off, and hit the routine like we know how.
Well, congratulations on the win. A very big SEC win tonight. Back to you.
Thank you, Lori. Definitely a huge win for the Florida Gators, getting the team title, but the individual title goes to Alabama's Ashley Miles. What a performance she put on, especially look at those big vault and floor scores. She's standing by with Natalie Taylor. Natalie?
Thanks, Jen. Ashley, third all-around title, and it's your first year competing in the all-around. Congratulations, but what's it like?
I mean, it's nice to be able to go out there and, you know, even struggle on an event like such as beam like I've done the past two meets also and come out on top. So if I can fix that, you know, I'll be well off.
Well, now talking about the beam, is that the area that you're going to focus on coming into next meet?
Definitely. I mean, I didn't get that many numbers out there. You know, I didn't compete it last week, so it's almost like I had to kind of start over in my preparation for it, and this is the first step. And next week we're at home, and I'm sure I'll get lots of beam from Sarah, you know, lots of jobs to do. So hopefully next week I'll be fine.
Hey, well, congratulations, Ashley. Third all-around. Now back to you, Jen.
Thanks.
Thank you, Natalie. The Florida Gators upsetting the fourth-ranked Alabama Crimson Tide tonight. Lori, what a win for Florida.
We saw some impressive gymnastics from both sides, but a great win for the Gators. They are really setting the pace for a more competitive SEC this year.
Absolutely. Some great SEC meets coming your way this season. Well, for Lori Strong-Ballard and Natalie Taylor, I'm Jen Hildreth saying so long from Gainesville.